Let's get educated. That's why we're here, to bring you the stories impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses. It's time for a little education.
Greetings, everyone. I am Katie Petrick, joined by David Fiorazzo. Now, with the Christmas season hot on our heels, it's right around the corner. It's just down the road. It's everything you could think it's going to be. It is important for you to protect the heels on a cold winter's night with some cozy slippers from our friends over at My Pillow.
That's right. They are. They're really cozy, cushy, and very warm. And so fill up that stocking with some new sheets, towels, pillows, slippers, a robe, and even some coffee, maybe even a dog bed. And right now, you can save up to 66% by simply using the code EDUCATED. MyPillow.com. Use the code EDUCATED and have a blessed Christmas season.
That's right. Now, for today, the dean of an elite private school in Chicago is drawing national attention after an undercover video shows him bragging, just bragging about how he introduces sex toys in the classroom. David, why?
Yes, well, why? Well, because we've got demonic agendas going on across the country, and there's moral relativism on steroids today. But thanks to James O'Keefe and Project Veritas, again, for great undercover work. So he's a dean, and this is an elite.
Ooh, it's always elite.
It's an elite private school in Chicago. Allegedly, he was recorded admitting to having a group come into his classroom and pass out sex toys. Why?
Okay. Okay.
Because it was during Pride Week, so it's all okay.
I mean, if it's during Pride Week.
Yeah, Pride Week, which is now, as we've said on this program many times, it is queer all year. So they don't need a reason. They don't need a special title of a day or a week or a month. They're just going to do it all year and shove it down your throats. So that's what they did for students to look at these sex toys and learn about gay sex. Now, this video was captured by the conservative action group Project Veritas and posted on social media, and it allegedly shows, this guy's name is Joseph Bruno. I want to just call him Bruno. Let's call him Bruno. But anyway, Joseph Bruno, he's the dean of students at Francis W. Parker School, which costs tens of thousands of dollars to attend. He's telling in the video an undercover activist for Project Veritas about activities that take place in his classroom. Let's play the first clip.
So I've been the dean for 4 years. During Pride, we do a Pride Week every year, and I had like our LGBTQ plus health center come in. They were passing around butt plugs and dildos to my students, talking about queer sex, using lube versus using spit.
Who was this?
This is an LGBTQ plus health center came in to talk to my high school students. Nice. They're just like passing around dildos, butt plugs. The kids are just playing with them, they're looking at them.
In the school?
In a classroom.
Wow.
Yeah. While I'm sitting there. And we had a drag queen come in, pass out cookies and brownies and do photos.
That's so amazing. And everybody's cool with that, like the butt plugs and the dildos. Nobody complains.
No.
I mean, if the parents found out, would they?
No. It's queer sex.
You have so much freedom and so much wiggle room.
So much freedom, so much money.
I mean,
to do stuff.
Like, how old were the kids with the classroom?
14, 18. They're like, how does this work? How do we do, how does this work?
Right.
So yeah, that's a really cool part of my job is I don't have to worry about stuff like that.
I don't have to worry about stuff like that because, at this point, I already took all of the money from the parents. And so what? Have the parents just completely been like, okay, you have my children now. You can teach them whatever you want. And it's cool. That's kind of what he's saying, because he started that clip by saying, oh, we have all the money. And then at the end, just being like, oh, it's totally fine. Like, oh, we got them. How much does it cost to go to that school, by the way, David? How much?
Tens of thousands of dollars. Let's look at this chart.
I mean, you want to send your before kindergartner to
Yeah.
school, and it's $37,000
To learn about what? What was he? What were they talking about? Butt plugs and dildos, ladies and gentlemen.
But that's the 14 to 18-year-olds. So by that time, it's costing you $41,000, $42,000 at that level. So you don't quite get all of that for the $37,000. You got to wait until they're a little older to get the $42,000 worth of education.
Guys, this is disgusting. It's pornographic. It should not be allowed. It should be illegal. If you had that conversation, that was in a classroom. Private school, public school, doesn't matter because you know darn well it's happening in the public schools to some degree. We've seen videos. There's a lot more that we haven't seen. So if this was happening in a public park with an adult saying these things to a minor, they would be arrested immediately. Why is it okay in the classroom? Why is the public education all of a sudden on this rampage, just ramming this stuff, and it's demonic. This is demonic.
Well, they've learned that it is okay to do this in the classroom. They have learned, these activists, these LGBTQ people who have their agenda about the queer sex and all of this, they are demonic, and they know that no one is watching. And we haven't been watching. We've been asleep as parents. We've been asleep as, I guess, top educators, whatever it is. We've been asleep, and we're staying asleep. And so here comes Satan. That's what happens.
That's right.
You let the enemy in by not being vigilant every single day. And then when you are vigilant, and like James O'Keefe and Project Veritas, because they're all about finding the truth, they uncover it, and what happens?
Radicals. They're radicals now.
Yes, what happens specifically in this instance with Bruno? What did Bruno and gang say about what James O'Keefe did?
Yeah, there's a reaction from the school I want to get to, but I do want to say they had a drag queen come in too. Can you imagine? I mean, Kirk Cameron even offered to go into some of these public libraries just to read a story about children that's biblical based. Can you imagine if you asked to go into the public school and say, "Hey, I just want to read the Christmas story from the Gospel of Luke"? Sorry, it's not allowed anymore. It's an ABC school, anything but Christ. So let's see the reaction in this video.
Will they fire the dean? Will they condemn what he said? No, they're taking an interesting approach here. Listen to this. Last week at the National Association of Independent Schools People of Color Conference, one of our employees was targeted by the group and misled to believe he was conversing with another conference attendee over a coffee. He was filmed without his knowledge or permission while describing one example of our inclusive, affirming, and comprehensive approach to sex education. This group, Project Veritas, has now edited the video with malicious intent. That's interesting. We'll talk about that in a minute. And launched it publicly tonight. Please know this video contains descriptive language. If you choose to view it, we ask you not to share it because it will add to its viral power. So they're saying that we edited it with malicious intent. Literally his words. There are no edits. It's just him talking about dildos and butt plugs and spit and awful things with 14-year-old girls getting this information. I don't know what, there's no edit. What are they talking about edit? Are they saying he didn't say these things? Then sue me. Sue me. By the way, we never lost a defamation lawsuit. That's because we don't edit anything improperly.
That's right. That's right. Thank you. Thank you, James O'Keefe. And by the way, the school officials did not offer one single example of anything in the video that was, quote, deceptively edited.
And as we've been talking about for months and months and years at this point, we say this is what the agenda is. This is what they've been trying to do. And we keep being told we're the radicals or James O'Keefe. They're just crazy right-wingers. Well, as we showed once before, and we're going to show it again, the San Francisco Gay Men's Choir says it all.
But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep them from disco, warn about San Francisco. Make him wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children. Someone's gotta teach them not to hate.
There were words I would say now before I was a Christian that I cannot say on this program about that. They are purposely coming after children. They know it's evil, and they're still admitting it. They're open about it. We will convert your children. Parents, are you hearing this? That's not just this choir of gay men. This is part of the agenda across the country in the schools, sadly.
Yes. And every time I see that clip, I just remind myself that that's why we are here today. This is why we are doing what we're doing, because we all need to wake up. We need to be vigilant every single day about what is happening to our children.
Friends, as tedious as this might be or offensive, share this, because a lot of people have no idea it's happening. Still to come, the hits keep on coming for this elite private school in Chicago, as 4- and 5-year-olds are also encouraged to join special affinity groups off limits to white kids, all in the name of social justice and equity. Sounds like there's other places you can send your $37,000 tuition check. Mom and Dad, stay with us.
Yeah, this school just keeps on being awful, and Mom and Dad need to pull little Johnny and Sally out of there and get them into, I'd say, almost any other school, but it's Chicago, so please be vigilant. Vigilance the word of the day, by the way.
It is Chicago.
It is Chicago, about where you send your children. Now, this very same Francis W. Parker School also offers affinity groups for children as young as the age of course, 4, pre-K. And it's basically saying that white students are not permitted to attend said affinity groups. And again, can I just remind you one more time, how much does tuition cost here at this school? Just one more time so I can see it. Okay. $37,000 at the youngest, and up to $42,000. Okay. So you send your little 4-year-old Johnny off to school. You pay your $37,000. And Johnny's white, so he can't be part of the group. I mean, we're all about inclusivity.
Oh, yeah.
Unless your skin tone, especially in Chicago, where you're in the north and half the year you're pastier white than pasty, they're going to be like, definitely not you. You cannot be in the group. So
what is this, students of color affinity
Students of color affinity groups, SOCA. They meet once a month and are exclusively for pre-K through 12th grade students of color. This is what's great. School website says that SOCA is open to all students in grades, JK, just kidding, through 5th grade who self-identify as a student of color and who are interested in participating.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
So you can self-identify. Yep. You don't have to be a person of color or a student of color. You can identify.
Yes. According to, in this specific section, they were saying it's the youngins through the 5th graders. So, of course, as long as they've done their due diligence and made sure to, get the students to hate their skin color, they're going to even convert then the white kids to thinking they're not white. So anyway, while the SOCA groups are only open to students of color through direct intentional programming within the curriculum in the lower and intermediate schools, all students have the opportunity to consider their own racial identity and how it plays into their greater sense of self. So hopefully that indoctrination has been working. So more on the website, it says, while white identity development is absolutely important to a child's development, we know there are a number of factors in the racial identity development process of young children. Racial identity development process of young children of color that can benefit from direct programming. Oh, so they admit they're directly programming or reprogramming the children in a way that differs from that of white students. Now, again, according to the website, here's the deal. We're not making any of this up. These are their words. According to their website, they also say that individuals in the United States are considering their racial identities as early as age 3, which is why affinity groups are needed for the younger grades. Oh, really? I have a 3-year-old now. Pretty sure he's not considering his racial identity at all. I mean, he's considering if Santa Claus is coming to town. He's considering if the reindeer are working hard, because those reindeer work hard,
Yep.
He is not considering his racial identity. David?
I just want to point out a very important book that you parents might want to look at. I mean, you can always go to the Bible and look at human history and go back to Genesis, but there's a fascinating, groundbreaking book that's called Traced, Traced, Tracing Human DNA's Big Surprise. It's by Dr. Nathaniel Jeanson. And Ken Ham over at Answers in Genesis says, Dr. Nathaniel Jeanson has found the Rosetta Stone of human history. So it answers questions like what happened to ancient peoples, Egyptians, Romans, Mayans, Persians, and it traces the DNA generation by generation. It traces family trees. Basically, we're talking bloodlines. It is fascinating. What's the bottom line, David? What are you saying? I don't want to read a big technical book that's going to that's going to give me a lot of answers.
You're making me read words.
4 words. One blood, one race. Did you get that?
Is there a comma in there?
There could be. We all have the same blood. There's the human race, and then there's whatever else you wanted to say. But no, we have to acknowledge this. This is the problem when you start throwing CRT. You start talking about social justice. You start, separating kids by their skin color or making kids feel inferior or guilting them into identifying as something that they're not. And they're trying to reason in their heads, well, I don't understand this, but I'm going to go along with it. You're confusing children and you are teaching them a delusion rather than the truth. My 2 cents, and I could go on, but we're limited for time here.
2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 cents. But hey, when we come back, public schools aren't any better, in case you didn't realize that. We have a small town elementary teacher in Minnesota who is now facing charges of forcing young boys to touch his crotch during class. That's next.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends at MyPillow. Save up to 66% on pristine quality bedding, towels, slippers, signature pillows, and much more when you use the code EDUCATED. That's EDUCATED. Educated. Support this show and a great American company.
When we say that gross behavior, like we just saw in the previous stories here, it's not reserved for the big cities like, Chicago. What we mean are examples like this next story, where we are staying in the Midwest in Benson, Minnesota. It's about 150 miles west of St. Paul. Population about 3,500. So if you live in a small town, population less than 5,000 even, we're talking about you, possibly. We have Roger Joseph Ebnett, 59 years old, who teaches 2nd grade at the Northside Elementary School in Benson, who was just arrested after reports indicated he forced at least 3 boys, ages 7 and 8, to touch him inappropriately. On December 1st, Ebnett allegedly had one of the boys sit between his legs and instructed the other students in the classroom to close their eyes and face the opposite direction. That's a red flag right there.
Jeez.
According to the criminal complaint, he then sat up slightly and placed the boy's hand so that it was underneath Ebnett's groin area. And according to the complaint, that same day, video footage allegedly showed that he had positioned another boy between his legs and placed the children's hands behind his back so that they were close to Ebnett's groin. Now, at that point, Roger continued to squeeze his thighs and make upward movements with his groin toward the child's body.
So this is on video.
This is on video, and what's so fascinating is that...
So the school can't deny it.
Well, the school is actually... its video surveillance is commonplace in this school district. Apparently, nationwide it's controversial. Should we have cameras in classrooms or not?
Yes.
But in Benson, I guess nearly all areas of their schools may be under surveillance, including the common areas of classrooms and outdoor properties. And even bathrooms and locker rooms may have cameras installed under certain conditions, as long as the superintendent approves, which again, let's talk about superintendents are not angels either, as we'll see in another story.
There's a tease.
So yeah, so there's that. And then there was the similar incident with a 3rd boy who had allegedly occurred the day before that. So I don't know what this 2nd grade teacher was thinking, if something had been leading up to this, if he's been doing this for a while or whatnot, but apparently this guy is supposed to be such a great teacher. He's won awards. Target even praised him for, raising money or whatnot.
Well, Target.
Hello, my name is Roger Ebnett, and I teach second grade with Benson Public Schools. Target had $5 million they wanted to give away to schools, and the easy way of getting it was to simply just vote on Facebook, and every vote amounted to $1 for your favorite school.
Okay, so Target, by the way, one of the first major corporations that went with the gender-neutral bathrooms back in 2017. They're all in for this, so I'm not surprised, not that they knew what the second grade teacher was doing, but the school did respond, and they are aware of the pending criminal charges, and they take the safety and security of our students very seriously and have been cooperating and will continue to cooperate fully with law enforcement in its investigation until we find a loophole that we can cover up and, save the teachers behind. Oh, I put that in there. Sorry. Sorry, that was fine print.
Sorry. Must have been. Anyway, still to come. According to new legal documents, an Ohio school superintendent admits to have sexual fantasies involving children, and he still refuses to resign. We're going to talk about that next.
If you have a smartphone, tablet, Roku, or Apple TV, consider downloading the Freedom Project Media app. It's 100% free and includes all of our weekly shows, plus lecture series, archive programs, and award-winning animated videos for families like the Presidential Minute, Battles of America, and Heroes of the West. Don't rely on the social media giants to keep you informed. Simply download the Freedom Project Media app from your app store and allow notifications. And we'll let you know when a new video is ready.
Documents reveal Ohio superintendent admitting to sexual fantasies involving children. This article, it does contain graphic admissions about sexual fantasies if you were to look it up and actually read some of it. That's why we're saving you the pain and we're telling you about it. It involves children, rape, other topics that may be disturbing to some readers. It should be disturbing to most readers and all parents. And it's Lakota local schools in Ohio. And they're demanding that Superintendent Matt Miller resign after his highly compromised sexual history and statements regarding sexual fantasies with children have come to light. Let's get right to this video.
In his transcript, Matt Miller paints the picture of being a victim of his wife's sick desires, which includes engaging in sexual fantasies about young children in our district. Now he claims he is a victim of a smear campaign and calls everyone who questions him crazy. Why did Matt choose to engage in the sexual fantasy and role-playing about children? Why did Matt continue reading once he knew it involved 3 young boys in Lakota's school district? Although he is taking no responsibility for his actions, he doesn't deny participating in them. In his transcript, he said he didn't cross lines with minors. I disagree. He already crossed many lines by participating in sexual fantasies and role play involving young children.
Oh, well, that's nice. He only leads the second largest district in Southwest Ohio and the 8th largest school system in the whole state, and it's serving 16,000 students in 20 different schools. But hey, he's your leader. What happened was someone named Vanessa Wells, who is a Lakota parent, had filed a police report against Miller with the sheriff's office. And in that complaint, Wells actually provided police with numerous text messages, including messages that were between Miller and his now ex-wife. And we're not going to go into all the details, but again, you can read those as David had said. It basically shows that Miller was admitting to fantasizing about raping minors, and the now ex-wife also alleges that Matt wanted her to go down to their basement when their son was there with his friends, and that she would have sex with the friends or maybe the son. It's very disturbing.
Invite the neighbor kids over. What could go wrong? Anyway, the Butler County Sheriff's Office, without examining any of Miller's electronic devices, concluded they didn't have probable cause to bring criminal charges. And yeah, So the district attorneys finally informed the school board of the allegations, which was 10 days after the initial police report was filed. There's just so much that goes on here when it comes to a protected by big, powerful teachers unions public school employee.
And then, as you saw in the video, the concerned parents showed up to meetings being like the school board meetings being like, we have some concerns here, you think? And on September 12th, then the board banned parents from speaking critically of the board in the context of Miller. Hands up, it wasn't us, we didn't do it, we're not going to be held responsible, we're just not going to do anything about it.
Nothing
we're just
to
gonna,
see here,
nothing
move
to see
along.
here, move on, parents.
Jeez, Lord
what do
help
you have
us.
to do here? Nothing? All right then. Well, on that note, if you're a fan of this show, if you've made it through this entire episode, I am proud of you. Go ahead, give yourself a thumbs up by liking this video, and give us a little comment. Just a little whatever is on your heart
Even
at the moment.
story suggestions, please.
That too. And I guess I would say share this with everyone you know, but
only some people.
Maybe
Don't
some
share this
people.
with everybody.
Not everyone. But if you are watching us on the social media, you can do all the things that you need to do. But hey, you could also send us your feedback by going to stayeducated.org. And of course, don't forget to save yourself some dollar signs here by taking advantage of our 66% off deal at MyPillow. Simply go to MyPillow.
Use the code. Use the code.
Use the code. What's the code, David?
Educated
to save yourself a bundle on towels, on dog beds, on everything that goes in a stocking or
comfy
not in a
warm
stocking.
slippers.
Get your slippers.
Just bought my wife some. I'm kidding. She already knows. She has them already.
Oh, okay. We're good then. All right. Well, then we're fine. For David and myself, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And thank you for supporting what we do. Until next time, stay educated.